Hey guys, it's 2:50 in the morning right now, and video got posted up on KCSRK a little while ago by Shabazz Shelby. He said he was kind of a new player playing online, wanted some feedback on his videos, and I got about halfway through the match when I figured that it would be easier just to make a video and just kind of talk about a couple things here and there. Not really going to try to break down and you know ridicule every little thing because I'm definitely not perfect, but hopefully this will help you out in illustrating some of the things that go on in the match and um, some pointers on what could be done better. So right off the bat, what's going to be important here is what is going to be like the first move here. So like I said, I only got through like the first like half of the match before I decided to do this. So let's just look at what happens. Alright, so immediately we see jump light punch. So not a super good button for Ken to go to in the air. It doesn't have the greatest hitbox. So what we mean by that is if you're not sure about what that means, is that is the active. If I can kind of pause it, that's probably as best I'm going to get. But it doesn't have a very good hitbox up top. It probably looks like something like this, and that's when he's actually in the air. So he does it very late in this scenario. And why that's not very good to jump in with is because even if you do hit with it, there's not a lot of hit stun. So that means the amount of time that a character is reeling in their animation that allows you to link into another attack. So if you are going to commit to a jump off the bat, better buttons for that situation would be Ken's jump medium kick, jump roundhouse, jump fierce punch, and lastly at that range, jump light kick. So those are some better buttons to be used in that situation. So let's go ahead and move forward. Alright, so kind of poking back and forth. Pretty good use of step kick there. It's -2 on block, which means Ryu doesn't have anything to punish it. So if he does punish a step kick, it's gonna be because you pushed a button afterwards. So it's a good way to move Ken forward, and you always want to try to position yourself to where your toes are gonna find that other character. So something I want to talk about this spacing right here. This is the classic spacing as a Shoto character, a Fireball DP, Hurricane Kick character that you want to try to threaten the range here. This is a pretty good space to hold them. Now, why is this a good space? Because what you want to do is, the name of the game here, you want to throw a light punch fireball, and then if the other player reacts to it, they don't read it, meaning they see the fireball, then they make the conscious decision to jump. You then get to DP. So while this is a good range to hold them at, and this is something you really want to practice, especially and this same kind of stuff is going to carry over to Street Fighter V as well. So you hold this space right here, and actually we would like to see probably back closer to this area, but this is like 3.5 to almost. This is like I think this is like 3.5 squares if you go in the training room. But at this range, as long as you're not predictable, you can throw a light punch fireball. The Ryu will jump over it, and you will have recovered in time to do a medium punch. Sure, you can to anti him, and he will wind up right back in the corner. The same kind of situation will present itself. So this is a good range that you really want to try to control when you have achieved the corner, because having your opponent in the corner is very advantageous to you, and it's always disadvantage to them unless you are Dominion's Guile. So baited focus attack, not a bad idea. It's good to test your opponent early on, so it's a good idea right there. More jump light punch. So right there, that's anti-air. But he said he was missing some anti-airs already, so we don't really need to go over that. Pretty decent use of spacing on the sweep. It's a good poke for a Shoto. It's always good. Dash out of that. Alright, so, if I can pause it. So, let's talk about, I just quickly want to point it out here. So, Fireball, immediately react with our EX Fireball full screen. So, this is something I do all the time, and it is a terrible habit. I developed it a long time ago when I used to play online because I was so scared of accidentally burning off my super that I would just be like, I need to just get rid of this bar so I don't accidentally waste the entire thing. The bad part about this is you really need to use your meter wisely, you know, in every matchup, but in this particular matchup where Ryu does have a better fireball than you, it's going to be very important to have that meter when you're kind of in the closer fireball range of about like right here. So this is like a good range. If this is Ken and Ryu right here, this is a better range to use the EX fireball because it's going to be harder for your opponent to react because, I mean, at this range, you know, you see the full screen fireball coming. Ken's EX fireball is very fast, one of the fastest projectiles in the game in terms of travel. However, it's just not good fundamental Street Fighter to use your bar at this range. But we do score some damage there anyway, so that's good. So nice dashing forward here, use the fireball. The Ryu Ultra's back, which I'm not really sure if he meant to do that or if that was just him kind of panicking, mashing Ultra out. So at this range right now, Ryu has the life disadvantage. You're only about a jump hard kick sweep away from dying. This is a good range where if you just sit still and you throw a fireball at about here, and again, this is all reacting if Ryu reacts to it, he's gonna get off the ground when your fireball's about here. You'll react. He's gonna be about at the top of his jump arc here, and you will be able to DP accordingly. So this is a really good range to try to threaten as Ken. The disadvantage to that, Ryu gets to stand about this much closer to you, about the 2 square range, probably closer to this, and he can do the same thing to you, and then that's just that much more space that he gets to control, and that's something to be aware of. So in this situation, if you throw a light punch fireball, and he reacts to it, which should be about right here, you will be able to anti-air him. If you are right here, if you're any closer and he throws and you throw a fireball, it'll be too close and he'll have to either focus attack or just block it. If you're any farther back, if you're back here and you throw a fireball, so this is close to full screen, he'll be able to jump over it and you can't punish it. Same thing applies to Ryu, except his fireball recovers a little faster, and so he can adjust the spacing accordingly. But this is still a good space to keep in mind of, especially if you're trying to keep up in a zoning war. And finally, the point I want to make here, again, you have the life advantage. There's no need to press right here. So this is a good time to establish the fireball game. Of course, you want to be aware that he does have 3 bars, so that red fireball, the Shakunetsu, could come out. It can be a problem. So walk him to the corner. Good patience here. Yep, step kick to try to get in. One of Ken's best chip buttons and find damage. So that is the well-spaced step kick that you want to try to accomplish every time. And caught him during the startup of his fireball. Air to air with medium kick, and you find a throw. Going for a little bit of a setup. Again, that light jump punch, or jump light punch, excuse me, not really going to, you can't really do anything with it. Even if it does hit, I mean, you just can't do anything with it. So again, you really want to try to get more in the habit of jump medium kick. And even if it's just a simple combo like jump medium kick, crouch medium kick Tatsu, just so that your fingers will stay on the same button to try to get you in the groove of that, that might be something you can do. Alright, so I'm going to back up just a quick second and talk about the zone that we have here. So, but right before you start moving forward, so we have Ryu throwing fireballs full screen, right? Now, if Ryu throws a fireball full screen, you will jump and you will land about right here. Probably a little closer to here. Ryu can't do anything. His stand roundhouse is going to be his farthest anti-air at this point, and it's going to go about that far, where the DPs are going to catch something like this. Alright, so as long as you just jump over fireball, you can't be punished, and that puts you approximately 1 square away. So what you want to do in this situation is, instead of just committing to like a double jump forward, try blocking a fireball, then focus dashing forward on a fireball, or blocking a fireball and then neutral jumping over it to see how Ryu then adjusts the spacing. Because if he's really trying to play the zone, he's going to be trying to accomplish that strong zone area that we talked about earlier, where if he throws a light fireball and you react to it, again, not read, he's going to get a DP and reset the whole situation over again. So walk forward. So that would have been, the first person that goes to neutral is the first person to react. So when I say neutral, of course, that means not pressing any buttons and holding pretty stabilized ground. So jumping at this point when Ryu hasn't done anything is pretty risky, because a DP right here could go to Ultra or potentially just a red fireball depending on the juggle situation. But you get in, and then we finally see an anti-air from Ryu. Good answer back. So you might have just missed it, but anti-air DP like that from Ken, you can always follow up with hard DP or EX DP, and if they're right on top of you, so like right on top of Ken's head, you can get Ultra again with the jumping light punches. And anti-airs, of course you already said that. Yeah, now he's starting to find a DP. Good overhead, classic high-low. And now you really don't need to push right here. I think that Crouch Fierce was probably a fireball, but you really don't need to push. Alright, so DP, alright, so the Tatsu right here. I'm just going to let this run real quick. So it runs out in time, you get to 50-50. And he's guessing for, alright, so right here, when you recognize Tatsu's incoming, so he rotates, and then as soon as you block it, you're pretty much at the mercy of the Tatsu at this range as it runs out. What you want to do is you want to crouch and do crouch hard punch, or just medium punch DP, because it has the most invincibility, and that's how you can punish it, Tatsu that is. So like as soon as you hit the block right there, you would need to do DP or crouch hard punch to try to break that up. Because if you wait for him to land, he'll be 0 on block, and it's a 50-50 mix-up. So, he's going to go DP, block, or throw. You find a throw, and it's enough to kill. So I hope that some of this stuff made sense. Again, we'll probably talk about this in the comments a little more, but so things to take away from this. Number 1, anti-air, right? You would win. You would take off. You probably earn yourself this much health every single game if you would just anti-air. So that is the biggest thing to do. I think a really good way to practice anti-air is just play against the computer and work on the zone. So the anti-airing will make a lot more sense to you if you practice the zone. And the best zone to practice is this zone, the starting area, this 2 square range. So we have 1 square, 2 square, right? That's what I talk about when the 2 square range, the tiles on the floor. So you got to know that the training room is not just an empty background that has nothing. It's there to help you. It tells you the hitboxes of characters. It tells you how far normals go, things like that. That's what these squares are for. So the squares on the wall, squares on the floor, the red line, so on and so forth. So when you get comfortable controlling this space, and Ken's got good walk speed, so that's what helps him establish the spacing he needs to win. And you throw the safe fireballs, the ones that allow you to DP afterwards, that's when you'll start getting more confident about your Street Fighter zoning and about the spacing, and you'll just overall be able to react. So when you throw a fireball, let's say he reacts to it, he doesn't have a read on you, and he jumps over. Basically what you want to be doing when the fireball gets out to about here, well, it's probably a little farther than that because it's Ken. When the fireball gets out to about here, Ken will have halfway recovered. In that time, you want to be buffering DP the entire time. Z motion, Z motion, Z motion, and if he jumps, punch, right? If he doesn't jump, and he neutral jumps, then you still Z motion, Z motion, Z motion, no punch. But the important part is you've still held the zone, right? So if he hasn't jumped forward and DP'd, he's either gone up, he's either stayed still, or he's walked backwards. That is the only things he can do. Or focus attack, dash forward, right? But you're still safe because you earned this zone and you can throw the safe fireball. Again, that's on if he reacts. If he reads it and just jumps at the start like a crazy person, then you're kind of in a world of hurt, and you just gotta hold that damage. We gotta get away from the jump light punch. So what instead we want to see when going in, like jumping towards somebody for a punish or even air to air, is we want to see jump roundhouse, so jump hard kick, or jump fierce punch, jump hard punch. The other good button is jump medium kick. So those are kind of the three jump-ins that Ken really wants to utilize. Jump hard punch, and jump medium kick, especially because they are also ambiguous tools used for cross-ups. So less jump light punch, more jump medium kick, more jump hard kick, more jump hard punch. We want to talk about controlling the corner. So that's finding the comfortable zone when you have a knockdown that you still want to threaten somebody but not commit fully, and make them basically hang themselves. So mentioned earlier that when Ryu stands up, he's going to be right here. About a slight step forward plus a carry throw, you nab him. That's a range where he can't wake up DP because you're not close enough, right? So you've trained him to hold down back. If you take a slight step backwards to about here, now you could throw a light punch fireball and then DP him on the way down. That puts him right back in the corner. It resets the situation. You still have control. You can furthermore, from this range, step kick forward, pin him down, and continue to apply pressure. The worst thing you can really do in this situation, especially when he has this much life left, assuming no other damage has gone on, is jump in, because you have just given up your advantageous position unless you really have a strong ambiguous setup, or you really have the read that he's not going to know which way to block. So hold the zone. That I would say is the next takeaway from this. Anti-air, less jump, light punch, and hold the zone are probably the three biggest things that if you work on that, you'll be more successful in Street Fighter, and all of those three things will carry over into Street Fighter V. So thanks for sharing on KCSRK, and don't ever be scared to ask questions.